since 2014, the commission has connected with over 5,000 international artists alongside organizing conferences, publications, and experimental projects and exhibitions. Simultaneously, efforts have been made to design programs catering to a broad audience of children, aiming to introduce contemporary art and important art and cultural topics. Okay, so and let's move on to the introduction of this event. So ISVC is an international platform for diverse and critical perspective on visual culture, and we aim to create a global network of researchers and artists and consumers, makers of visual culture, and foster critical thought and in-depth understanding of visual culture on a global scale. So it was first established in 2020, and then unfortunately there was COVID just happened right before this event, so we had to go online until 2023, and then luckily the situation got much better, so this is actually the first time we could actually on-site event, so I'm really happy, and then to meet you in person, and very grateful to have a on-site event. And actually the featured presenters are artists and scholars, and their works are currently exhibited in ISVC Museum. So I just brought the photo documentation of them. Yeah. And alongside the exhibition, we have another exhibition happening at the ISVC Museum now, Figures 2024. And also there's in the museum there's a Chomo Kim's gallery featuring the founders' sculptures. Okay. And then the featured artists will be also featured in our annual publication, New Media Art. So the publication launched in 2015, and then we publish annually. Yeah, so I just want to show this brief documentation of our another event. So we also have a New Media Art Conference at the ISVC Museum annually. So artists from all around the world actually visit us. And then it's 3-day events, and then they have photo show series, and also have conference and some tour and workshop programs. So I just got some pictures. So I don't want to go over everything, so I'll show you and then we also have a project called Art Teleporting. So we have two events in 2019 and 20, and unfortunately due to the COVID we had to actually go online after that. And also we have joint exhibitions with many universities, including Montgomery College, located actually in Silver Spring. So it was a really good opportunity to connect Korean artists with the community here. And also we had collaborated exhibitions with California State University before this event. So we are looking forward for collaboration with many organizations and also the university. So if you have any ideas, feel free to contact me, and then we are open to any kind of collaboration, creative projects together.
Hi everyone, I'm one of the helpers for this weekend, and before we get to the artist presentations, I'll just be giving a brief overview of what the artist presented. I'll just go from the front row, left to right, and then back row, left to right. So first, we have Danelle Burton. Danelle is an American doctoral, yeah, if you could just wave so that everyone knows. So Danelle is an American doctoral student studying modern and contemporary art, with one of her primary interests being African American art. Danelle presented her analysis of the artist Sue Collier titled The Weight of Light, Problematic Brushstrokes of Shaded Maternity in the Works of Sue Collier, that focused on the impressionistic styles embedded in Sue Collier's work. Next, we have Sylvia.
Somewhere.
Yeah, Sylvia Rizanka. Sylvia is an American artist philosopher currently working as an assistant professor in the Department of Arts at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute and is a PhD candidate in visual arts, philosophy, aesthetics, and art theory at the Institute for Doctoral Studies in the Visual Arts in Portland, Maine. Sylvia presented her research titled Botanical Computing, Speculative Futures for Vegetable Technologies, which explored the intersection of AI, plant thinking, and another approach to the concept of care. Next up, we have Diamond. Okay. Diamond is a Korean American or Korean artist who is studying printmaking and art history from Hongik University and currently operates Post-Human Studio. Diamond presented her multimedia project titled Human, Meditation and Prayer, which explored a three-step use of meditation and prayer to heal the self. Next up, we have Lavita is using, Lavita is a mixed media artist born and raised in Shenzhen, China. Her mixed media project titled Intertwine explored the multifaceted use of mediums like string, music, translations between Chinese and English, and a singular sweet potato. Next up we have Dodd. Dodd Holsapple. Dodd is an American artist and is the resident artist at the Noxubee Wetlands Refuge, and he will be heading to MSU shortly to start his artist residency there. Dodd presented the broad spectrum of his work titled Artist Dodd Holsapple that incorporated math like the Fibonacci numbers, code, and environmentalism. Next up we have Sang-woo Samuel Kim. Sang-woo is a Korean-American artist who is currently working in business but previously taught courses in Italian Renaissance art history at Johns Hopkins. Sang presented his art history analysis titled Icons and Angels Between Rome and Valencia in the Late Middle Ages, Miracle of Castel Sant'Angelo in the Philadelphia Museum of Art, which explored the possible origins, meaning, and interpretations of the painting Miracle of Castel Sant'Angelo. Next up, we have Xiaoyu Liu. Xiaoyu is a Chinese-born multidisciplinary artist and product designer based in the United States. Xiaoyu presented her project titled Near Water, The Memories of Bathing, which is actually the front cover of the booklet, the pamphlet, which showed her creative use of the written word, water, and accordion book to explore the importance of bodies of water in her life. And who lives and works in Providence, Rhode Island. She is an associate professor of painting and drawing at the University of Massachusetts, Dartmouth. Elena presented her project titled Ash, Subject, Material, and Metaphor, exploring the use of ash to portray chaos and order, black and white, and finding the balance between supposed opposites. And we also have a few presenters who are not with us today.
They're not today. They did present yesterday and this morning. And I'll talk through a few of their works. So we have Chung Cheng. He presented his photojournalist montage. Do you mind doing this, Ron?
Oh.
and more information on all of these talented artists can be found on the website, so please do check it out. But he did present his photojournal montage titled The Wall, exploring metaphors of East and West, outside and inside, and focusing on images of Beijing. Then we have Lauren Ruiz. She presented her study and subsequent installation of the earthworm, also known as night crawlers, to explore the concept of labor. That one was graphic, but very, very interesting. Barbie Kim, she presented her research on ethics and photographic copyright laws. She spoke of the conflict between art and its subjects. Fei Shu Mei, she presented her research on gender and female sexuality in East Asia through Jan Mei, or Boys Love. Chen Lao presented her series of projects on the different ways meaning can be embodied through various mediums, including books and publishing. And finally, Isabel Rose Benny presented her fictional landscape creations as a juxtaposition to real worlds versus forever fictional worlds. Sorry, that was fast. So those have been our talented artists, so please do read up more on them. They all have social media accounts and websites and other installations you can explore more into. But with that, we'll start the short presentations. Would anyone like to go first? Yeah? Yes. Awesome. And at any point, please feel free to grab some more food, grab another drink, make yourself comfortable.
Does someone just show me where the presentations are? Or also where to go? Hello everyone, thank you for being here. My presentation and the subject of my current work is ash. I explore the subject of ash as metaphor and material through drawings and paintings, and actually not paintings really right now, installations and drawings possible. Please don't tell me that there could be issues that I don't even go next. I'm trying the arrows. Make it live. Do you have to touch the screen? Okay. Okay, great. Okay, wonderful. I work with allegorical representation to create subtle layered meaning for and invite the viewer's interpretation. I work with drawing and installation. I think of my subject as a metaphor. I think of my material as metaphor. Ash is something that I have worked with for quite a or charcoal, which is another form of ash. Okay. I often work with a human figure. I'm not after the likeness necessarily in the figure as a portrait. Instead, I would like to use the figure as a vehicle, hopefully a potent vehicle for representation, but also a vehicle for constructing a metaphor and hopefully capturing a human state or a human essence. I use myself as the actor. Of course, I can work with another human being, but I think of myself as simultaneously the choreographer and the actor. I know what I want to represent and how I would like to evoke it. So I don't think of this necessarily as, oh, this is a portrait of me, but this is a portrait of a particular human experience or state that I want to present the viewer. My work is always life-size because I want to create the most direct relationship between the viewer and the representative. I seek to construct images that combine representation or realism, abstraction or the language of abstraction, and invention in one, in order to underscore that this is not a reality that we are observing, instead these are constructed metaphors that invite the viewer in a conversation, hopefully invite you to slow down and decode and reflect on the images. Here we have hands that are about to reach into the rectangle. The aftermath is unknown. Here's a detail. When I draw, I think of my drawings as a burden and something that is also very much of a state of, meditation. So they're very laborious, they take a lot of time, but also meditative practice where I explore the surface of the body, the surfaces that hold the human history. I really believe in our skin as something that holds our own personal histories. The way walls in old buildings hold the histories of what have taken place. So like the Berlin walls still hold the surfaces of the Second World War. They're actually portals within some of the Berlin facades. I also enjoy the abstraction that is found in human skin, all these micro relationships of angles and shapes. My work tackles individual and social and global states. So I seek to work and explore, investigate difficult subjects, but in a way entice the viewer to the beauty of the work, to engage in much more difficult conversations, whether they're about social states or environmental states, challenges that are perhaps created by us as humans, but much bigger than us, and possibly something that is already outside of our control. These are charcoal drawings, wine charcoal and charcoal pencil. They're a little bit more gray than violet, but projectors always change things. So I try to protect my whites very much. I decontextualize an image in order to underscore it being a metaphor, not reality. Here's another piece. I have come to terms with how long my drawings take. Sometimes they take months, but in order to arrive where I want to be, it takes the time it's going to take. So it's a good thing that I have a full-time faculty salary versus having to sell my work, because it's a bit problematic. I do sell my work, but that's not my primary income. I also work with installation, and I explore the same subject in different media. This is a still of an installation with boxes. You may be able to guess what the subject is about, or perhaps consumerism, the environmental crisis. There, I just really copy this to the. Please go. Well, sorry. There, I'll go to the last image of this. I guess it's just to show you. What? Okay. Please go. There we go. So I sometimes my work oscillates between drawing and installation. Sometimes the installations emerge from the drawings, and sometimes the drawings emerge from the installations. So this is a recent piece, and then the installation that came after. It's 6 feet by 6 feet wide and about this tall. I think of it, yes, as a pile of charcoal, but very much a metaphor as well. Thank you, and thank you for having me at the symposium and the exhibition and all the wonderful presentations.
Who's next? Okay.
Okay. So, right, bear with. I work in tech, so this of course is. I want to blend and sing for the full success. Full screen mode.
Sorry, you're there. So,
Will it keep doing that?
yeah.
Well, anyways, my name is Sylvia Rosanka, and I'm an assistant professor in games, arts, social sciences, and no, just sciences. The games program at Rensselaer Scientific Institute in Colorado State, New York. I find it very amusing that this is dealing with technology on a daily basis.
You just hit Control L.
Control L, thank you. Well, that's awesome. There we go.
Hey.
Hey, okay. That's a projector, sorry. So I've been interested in the sciences since a young age, so I'm always interested in sort of what is not seen to the eye. There's needs for looking into a microscope. I consider myself an artist philosopher. What that means is that the questions that I'm asking sort of are these philosophical questions, and I'm using my art to express them and to come up with sort of these new concepts and ideas. I often work in a way to imagine sort of the alternate possibilities that we can have in sort of the world, and also the possibilities of how we might relate to technology and to computation. The piece in the back is one of my earliest pieces where I was looking at the way in which we think about time in 3D. So I created a still life that is decaying over real time. So this was a video piece that played for several weeks. And as I was doing that, I was thinking, why are we obsessed with trying to replicate sort of the decay? What does actually it mean for digital technologies to change and decay over time too? So the part in the left is sort of the taking the 3D information that makes the 3D model, and as viewers come to distort the data and shifting them. So playing with the idea of how we represent change over time, the impact of time into something that is digital technology. So the work that I do, the research interest is sort of really all over the place. So I do 3D animation, I do interactive installations, physical computing, VR, AR, sound installations, programming, media art histories, video game archiving, museum interactive exhibit design, and then philosophy, and sometimes weird performance art. So the piece that I was talking about is about sort of this imagining what would happen if we took plant taking and applied it to computation. So I'm starting to imagine sort of the melding of computer technology with plants and created sort of a vision of a sci-fi future in which electronic components are growing like plants and then plants are communicating with circuits. This was also using a lot of game technologies in order to sort of create the work, and I've been working in doing this real-time sort of live performance with the animation using Unreal in a 360 screen. And another component in that taking sort of inspiration from a film from the 1972 called Silent Running, and it's a movie in which we send out into space biospheres that have Earth's flora and fauna to protect, because we have basically destroyed all life on Earth, and so we're waiting for a time for Earth to recover in order to bring back that plant life. And in the film, the scientist trains these little androids, that they're kind of the precursors to R2-D2 from Star Wars. He trains them to take care of the plant life and to plant things and to water them. So I was imagining what happens with that spaceship when there's no more humans on the spaceship. The 10 plants and they kind of merge together. That's all. If you're interested in seeing any of the clips in there, I have my computer and I'd be happy to show you video clips with that. So thank you.
I will go now. Oh, that's fine. Yes. Hi, thank you for coming. The opportunity to introduce you to my work. I'm based in Los Angeles. I'm a contemporary artist, work in a traditional format. Climate awareness is the foundation of my work, and all of the themes in my work are environmental. So the topics are all environmental based. Would you push to move through the scroll?
I think you can use arrow.
Yeah, so this is a series of paintings called Reflections. It's actually my first series that I introduced in painting. These are quite large artworks, and it's just dealing with the Pacific Ocean and temperature change and water level, sea level rise. So again, like I mentioned, I paint in a traditional format. These paintings are about 98 inches by 76 inches, so they're quite large. I do heavy technical buildup with my paint mixing. I mix paint additives, all kinds of different acrylic paint additives, powdered glass, all kinds of different things are mixed with my medium. It's purposeful because the work cannot be photographed. As a contemporary artist at my stage of my career, I decided to work in a vein where the artwork cannot be photographed and really cannot be seen on the screen any longer. You have to actually see these works in person to get the full impact, because it's an optical thing that happens in the work. This is part of the same series. The first artwork was 7:30 a.m. This one is 12 noon. I spend a lot of time on the water, but I'm a very avid fisherman. So if you know about times of day and temperature
fish species move. There's a lot of that happening in here too with the coloring of the artwork. This one's 7:30 p.m. In that same series. These were all painted live during COVID at Jim Budman's studio, the photographer Jim Budman in Venice. He has this fantastic studio with this gigantic glass window that looks out into the street. And without any advertising, I started painting 3 paintings live from start to finish in this scale. So it was 12 days from 8 to 5 every day. And we just let it be voyeuristic as people pass by walking their dogs. And yeah, it turned into a crowd scene, and yes, the cops did show up and disperse everybody, but it was fun. Here's the work all in session, 7:30 a.m., 12 noon, and 7:30 p.m. The window is just over here. You can see that's where the light's coming in. But yeah, these were all painted live, 8 to 5 every day. Solaris is a series that I've never shown before. It's never been exhibited before. I should mention again that I do work in series. All the series are ongoing. None of them have concluded quite yet. This is another very large painting, and going back to what my colleague had said before, it also has a connection to a movie, the Space Odyssey movie. So Dave's last transmission when he flies into the monolith. Anybody seen Space Odyssey 2001? If you haven't, please go watch it and come right back. But when he flies into the monolith, his helmet has all these sparks and lines coming off of it. This painting is called Dark Sun. It's a dying star, but it's actually giving birth to a whole bunch of other stars. Again, my work is very tactile. There's actually surface quality. If you look closer, you'll see there's a variation in the surface. The artwork actually has a bunch of stars laid into it. I do a build-up with gel medium and all kinds of paint techniques to build surface before I execute the paintings. This is another work in the same series, based on the very first digital scan of the sun. NASA sent a satellite that used a digital recorder that printed the sun in like the old dot matrix version. So that was the catalyst conceptually behind creating this piece. The Solaris series, I'll have to tell you, is a reaction to Elon Musk. We read an article about his first Starlink satellites that he sent up. The very first version he sent up, he painted with a highly reflective paint. Does anybody know why? Because he wanted to stand on the ground and watch the satellites fly over. So what it causes in the the astrological community was another blinding of true stars really being able to see the sky. Everybody went after him, so the other sets of Starlink satellites after that, he wasn't allowed to paint them reflective. You can actually see them on a really clear night. If you look closely, you can see them move across the sky. Color of Air was a residency that I completed in Santa Ynez, California. It was dealing with air, temperature. Sorry.
1 minute warning.
Got it. Okay, I'm going to move really quick. So this was dealing with air temperature and air quality, heat, light, and how it moves through the Santa Ynez Valley in Northern California. Madrona was a work at the Madrona Wetlands, which is a vernal wetlands in Southern California. One of the last vernal wetlands in California, because the Chevron property, which is never developed, was given to the state. That was the same painting under different light effect. So I work with light reflective paints in my artwork. So if you change the light source, the artwork completely changes. This is Moon over Madrona. Under different light source, the artwork evolves. And that's my logo that my friend made for me.
Okay, Diamond. You've been chosen.
today's, I just usually show you a short video, so in meditation video. So the title is sorry. The title is Eye of the Mind, 심한 도척, 물이라는 제목입니다. So, yes. My work used the concept of meditation to depict the process of self-refinement and the pursuit of the truth through metaphors involving figure and nature. Yes, thank you for watching the video, and I hope you to have a beautiful today. Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, Janelle, would you like to be next? And again, anyone need some snacks, drinks, please help yourself. Bathroom's waiting.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the prior introduction. My name is Janelle Barton. As I mentioned, I'm the Doctor of Student Art History at Florida State University. And my talk yesterday was about Italian, but I wanted to do maybe something a little interactive before I even discuss anything so forward. So what is Impressionism in general? It is a technique in art that we use that captured the modern life, the vibrancy of life. And it met a lot of resistance at first. It started in France in 1874. They had their first exhibition, and they had about 8 ones after that. But it's not just tied to France. It traveled to other countries as well, including America. And this is a work by Childa Hassan called The Avenue of Rain from 1917, and it has the American flag there. And I wanted to talk about what are the characteristics of Impressionism, so that way you can compare it to an artist who's doing the same style today. in a new style, and also new subject matter. Now, some of you may have seen this work at the National Gallery by Monet, and wonderfully, they're having a show right now about French Impressionists in the 1874 show in particular. But I wanted to go over what the characteristics are. Number one, en plein air. So they tend to paint outside. Okay? Complete the work, start the work, and finish the work outside. Now Manet, with an A, was the one who finished his work in the studio, and you'll notice blockier, solid colors. Okay? The next characteristic is the avoidance of pure black and brown. Okay? They do optical mixing to create very dark colors. Then they almost appear black, but they're not. They're like a purplish black. The third characteristic of Impressionism is its blurriness. Here, from a distance, digitizing, everything looks great. When you actually see an Impressionist work up close, it is a mess, right, in terms of the brushstrokes, okay? Sometimes that's captured, but not really. It's really best to look at Impressionist works in person to get what I'm talking about. And because of that, what happens is the colors may change with your eyes because of the optical mixing, right? So instead of using green, what colors would the artist use? Let's go back in time. Let's go to our primary, secondary, and tertiary colors. Okay, so what color makes green? Blue and? Very good. Now, for folks though, of course, who are colorblind, Impressionist works look very different. It's very difficult for them. And I've had students in the past who've taken art appreciation with me or art history and who were colorblind and would tell me about their experience when they looked at those particular works. The next thing we have are broken lines and small dabs with the brush strokes. That also signifies movement, the broken line, and just capturing movement quickly. We also have asymmetrical balance, which we adopted from the styles in Asian art, from woodblock prints. In this particular work by Monet, I would like you, as a group, to just some of the characteristics we mentioned now. What do you identify?
Outside.
En plein air, very good. Right, so you see the mixing of the color to create shade, right? You see even underneath the blues and the greens. We're not just patting down and pasting down brown and black. What else? Blurriness, definitely, even in this work. Upper class leisure was also another characteristic of Impressionism. So you'll find scenes of people enjoying themselves in gardens, parks. If they are women Impressionist painters, they'll be painting images of domestic scenes inside. The male Impressionists were allowed to capture images at cafes and music halls, but the women were not. Is this upper class leisure? Certainly, right? We can tell with the parasol, the clothing. And this is Monet with his wife and son, Jean or Jean. And what is particularly interesting about Impressionism is that on the surface it seems very light and superficial, right? There's nothing underneath the surface. But like all good art, it will have multiple meanings, right? And here, Monet's wife dies when he's 32, his first wife, and that's his son, Jean. And we also think his wife, his mother died when he was 16. What's 16 times 2? 32, right? So is it really an image of his wife, or is it an image of his mother? Sort of history repeating itself. So when I talk about the works of Sue Collier, I call her a neo-impressionist because she's working in the same style, just now. She captures to me images of maternal anxiety, not just of good times with our children. What are the characteristics of impressionism that you see here? Very blurry. And it's very textured when you actually see her work. You see the brush strokes. What else? How does she create shading? Right, with the mixing of the colors, right? She does not use pure black and brown. You would think so just from the look of it, but she's like an impressionist. She's mixing all the colors together. Good. Anything else that you can make out?
Something bright, something dark.
Okay. Yes, it's a mother and holding her twin boys. And in Ms. Collier's case, one of her sons, one twin, he's a mathematician, and the other twin has special needs. Right? So, on the surface, it seems like it's just a ordinary sort of family, right? And she's not struggling with how to handle the responsibilities of being a wife of a doctor, a professional artist, and raising these twin boys. So I felt that when I had seen her work, that she's carrying in the vein of the Impressionists, but she's doing it in a new and exciting way. Thank you.
Experience designer, so basically I design a website and mobile app. This is what I do for my day job, and also I'm helping a nonprofit called Street Lives prevent youth homelessness in New York City. As for my art practice, my artwork always evolves and emerges around the concept. So I don't have a definite format or media that I usually use. Usually it's a topic that I'm really interested in. So first is time. Here is a project called Human Voices Talk. I recorded myself counting 2 minutes under several different context scenarios to explore the human perception of time under different scenarios. So for 2 minutes, like when I'm happy or I'm not, when I'm in the subway or in the class or at home, I will record 2 minutes. So every time is different. It's not the exact 2 minutes every time. So I overlap these different soundtracks into one and present it as like a final recording. And what is interesting is that the perception of time is sometimes very subjective. The time is stretchable, but the concept of time, which has in a larger society and human section, is defined and developed over time by the society. So that's something that I want to challenge us to think. And another thing is sensory perception. I have high sensitivity to high frequency sound. So these old TV, which will generate high frequency, usually drives me crazy. So this is a project I developed during my thesis. It's called Here, You Are What You Are Sensing. Because if you think about the kind of what we consider as normal, it's just like an average our level of perception of hearing or tasting or something. So it's very subjective depending on different person. And these products specifically, I use this self-made speaker, which is made by conductive copper wires and high strong magnets to create these like very sketchy speakers and stitch it on the canvas to create that effect. So because it's so sketchy, it will filter most of the details, and the high frequency will be kind of exaggerated in this work, and low frequency will be translated into vibration on the canvas, which mimics my experience when I'm experiencing with high frequency sound, which drives me crazy. And another topic is death. Here we go. It's weird, but yeah. So for death, I'm always sort of interested in the concept of death because in the Asian culture, death is something that is prohibited to kind of say it out. And like I told you guys like today that my dad would just like slap me on the head if I say anything about dad or death. So these projects specifically, when I was stand back to like when I killed a fly that flew into my house, and I killed it, and after I realized, oh, I don't show any care or mercy to this small creature, small animal, and under this kind of the period that during COVID, a lot of people are dying every day, and we care so much about human beings, and we don't pay any attention to any of the animals. So overlook is a privileged perspective from the human. So for this project, I use my phone to take photos of death that I encountered, except for human beings. So this challenges our kind of like, as human, our dictatorship and our dominance over the concept of death. And writing is also a big part of my work. The book that I presented in CCAP Museum is called Near Water, and with this book I tell my personal story of living in cities near water. And this is, here you can scan the QR code for the full script, because I won't be like reading it out through, because we only have 5 minutes. But the text was originally written in 2018 and originally in simplified Chinese, and then I translated into English. And this project was inspired by the poem from Milwaukee. You said, I will go to another country, go to another shore, find another city better than this one. And here comes the story. In part 1, this is the city where I grew up. It's a small island. How can you even get lost in such a small island? You tell me it is a small island. And then moving on, I moved to a different city. And during the years, I just wanted to kind of leave the city. So I'm 23 years old. The only thing in my mind is to leave Hangzhou. And then I went to Jyväskylä, which is in Finland. It's a small city in Finland. And I spent 10 months there for an exchange program. And it was really cold over there. And then I came to the US for my grad school. So I spent my 2 years in New York, but I actually live in Jersey City, and now I'm based out of Brooklyn. So this tells a story about like me traveling around the world, and I was just trying to, let me just go to the last one. So to close it out, you won't find a new country, won't find another shore. This city will always pursue you. So the past scars, all these memories, and everything will just I will just carry it through with me. So if you're interested in reading this group, reach out to me. I can show you the QR code again, but thank you so much. I don't have a studio. I'm not a studio and full-time artist, so I just use my skills to shoot my image, which is perfect. The lighting is perfect, the wall is perfect. So thank you so much.
We've got one more presentation before our demonstration, and sound moves.
go by Sam. I multiple names, but and I'm from South Korea. As you can see in my bio, I have an active business career in content production and localization industries, but I also practice art historical research on the side as an independent scholar. And I do so drawing upon my academic background in the Italian Renaissance art. And one of the themes of this event was art and culture in a global pandemic. And my presentation was a response to that keyword. And my presentation was read along yesterday, so I'm going to do it nice and short here. So my presentation closely examined the storytelling strategy of this painting from late 15th century Spain, which depicts an event in 590 where in the face of a deadly plague in Rome, the Pope led a procession with a painting of the Virgin. I connected the compositional decisions made by the painter with the devotional practices around the images of the Virgin in the late medieval Mediterranean world. In doing so, I highlighted the pictorial innovation and the historical significance of the painting. So if you want to learn more about the painting and speak on it, I'll be around, so reach out to me, and this is it. Very nice.
Okay, great. So now we're going to hear from our last artist, and this one involves everyone standing up again. Lavita will give us some details.
Yeah.
Okay, we will stand up in 1 minute.
Sorry.
Back to here a little.
I'll play a short video to show you what my artist is like. So I'm Lavita, and thanks for mentioning my sweet potato, but unfortunately it's not here today. So I'm a mixed media artist. I do painting, ceramic, photography, and fake making. But what I'm gonna show you is mainly my installation. I love to create a space for the audience to enter, and then to have multi-sensory experience, like smell, sound, vision, and some fun and more immersive artwork. And one more thing I want to mention is. What did I say? Oh, yeah. So my installation is always have some image or some video, experimental video. So I just want to deconstruct this cinema and then use the space to make it possible for the audience to come and reconstruct a narrative and experience a cinema or a alternative reality. That's it. It doesn't work. All right.
So the last part, the ceramic, is inspired by a beached whale in New Zealand, and I was very fascinated by their Maori indigenous culture, and they believe that everything in this world, in nature, is all connected to our ancestor, or the spirit of our ancestor. So that's what my performance is sort of like about also. So now feel free to stand up. But just like it's gonna be a projector here, so just make sure you don't be in the people.